let's be real for a second. Breaking into product management has always been tough, right? But now, in this AI-driven world, it feels like the goalposts are just constantly moving. So, what's the actual secret? How do you not just get a foot in the door, but really crush it once you're there? Well, let's unpack that.
Okay, so here's the hard truth. If you're serious about becoming a product manager or a product owner, say by 2026, there is this critical disconnect that you absolutely have to understand. It's the one thing that holds so many aspiring pros back.
And here it is, plain and simple. Picture two sides of a canyon. On one side, you've got all the theory and frameworks that, most training programs love to teach. But on the other side, that's what hiring managers actually want to see. Real, tangible proof that you can execute. And that gap in the middle, that's the chasm where so many promising careers just fall short.
Right, the theory versus execution gap. So let's really dig into this. Why does this gap even exist? And more importantly, why do so many of the traditional training methods just completely miss the mark for the product managers of tomorrow?
So, does any of this sound familiar? I bet it does. You've sat through courses that are just drowning in theory but have zero real product work. You're left wishing you had a mentor, someone who's actually been in the trenches. The programs feel, generic, with no connection to a real industry. You hear all this buzz about AI, but you have no clue how to actually apply it on the job. And then at the end of it all, you look at your portfolio and it just feels kind of weak, doesn't it? But here's the good news, things are changing. People are getting smarter about what they want from their education. So let's look at what the data tells us about this big shift towards practical, hands-on skills.
And wow, the message here is crystal clear. Look at this. A whopping 87% of learners are hungry for AI and data skills. But it's not just about the tech itself. They want context. 70% want to apply these skills in specific fields, like fintech and banking, and 61% in e-commerce. People are done with generic theory. They are absolutely craving practical, real-world application. Okay, so that's the problem. How do we actually bridge that gap between theory and execution? Well, one of the most powerful ways is through a practice-first learning experience. Let's take a look inside a model built around 4 AI labs to see exactly how this works. Everything kicks off with Lab 1, which is all about discovery and research. This is where you learn to use AI as a superpower. Really, you get to sift through mountains of messy data, user reviews, interview transcripts, market reports, to find those golden nuggets, those real user pain points, and then build personas that are actually backed by data, not just guesswork. Then we move on to Lab 2, AI-assisted user stories and backlogs. So, you found the opportunity, now what? You have to make it actionable. This lab is all about turning those brilliant insights into execution-ready backlogs. We're talking clear epics and user stories that an engineering team can pick up and run with, no confusion.
All right, Lab 3 is where you really start thinking like a business-savvy product owner. It's about AI product teardowns and prioritization. You'll run AI-powered analysis on competitor products, learn how to define what success actually looks like with clear metrics, and then, the really crucial part, prioritize features using frameworks like impact versus effort.
And that brings us to the final piece of the puzzle, the AI-powered MVP and product pitch. In Lab 4, this is where everything you've done comes together. You'll define the scope for a minimum viable product, build out a portfolio-ready concept, and craft a killer pitch deck. The end result? A real, tangible asset you can proudly show off.
You see, the key takeaway here is pretty simple. It's not just about what you know, it's about what you can show. So let's talk about the real, tangible things you walk away with from a hands-on approach like this. And this is what it actually looks like in practice. It's not about pre-recorded videos you watch alone. We're talking a live, mentor-led, hands-on environment. You're collaborating, you're asking questions, you're getting feedback in real time. You're not just a passive viewer, you're an active participant, learning by actually doing the work.
And the results? Well, they really speak for themselves. I love this quote from a past learner. This was the first PM program where I actually shipped something end-to-end. I built an AI-powered PRD, a no-code prototype, and a clear experiment plan I could confidently show in interviews. I mean, that says it all, right? That's the power of execution.
So, to sum it all up, what do you actually walk away with? We're talking 2 to 3 real product artifacts for your portfolio, things like teardowns and an MVP concept. You'll have genuine confidence using AI across the entire product lifecycle. You'll have a clear, compelling story to tell in your interviews. And crucially, you'll have gotten direct, actionable feedback from experienced mentors.
This whole thing is built on a really simple but powerful idea, the learn by doing philosophy. So let's zoom out for a second and talk about why getting involved, why getting your hands dirty, is the absolute key to truly learning anything complex. And at the very heart of this philosophy is something called product thinking. Now, this isn't a textbook definition or a rigid set of rules. It's a mindset. It's a way of looking at the world that puts the user's needs, the business's goals, and the overall context at the center of every single decision. It's not about building more features. It's about solving the right problems in the right way.
So the big question is, how do you actually build that mindset? Well, one of the most effective ways is through something called a product teardown. You see, great product managers don't just use products, they take them apart, they deconstruct them piece by piece to really understand the strategy, the design choices, the business model, all to figure out why a great product works. And this pyramid here, it's basically a roadmap for the whole journey. You start at the bottom, building up those foundational skills, maybe with free resources. Then you move up to building your portfolio and getting mentorship. And it all culminates at the top with career acceleration, actually helping you land that job. It's a really holistic, comprehensive approach.
You know, in the end, it all boils down to that timeless wisdom from Benjamin Franklin. Tell me and I forget, teach me and I may remember, involve me and I learn. It's just so true. Real mastery, the kind that sticks, comes from getting involved, from active participation, not from just sitting back and watching.
And that brings us to the final, crucial question you really need to ask yourself as you plan your next move. When a hiring manager opens up your portfolio, what are they going to see? A collection of theories you've learned? Or will they see undeniable proof, a testament to your ability to actually execute?